Hey guys, Dwayne Nash here. Been a little slow on the news front lately, but I want to talk about an article. Um, uh, what's the name of this place? T Thought Out, Truthout by Truthout. A Green New Deal must prioritize regenerative agriculture. And this article brings up a lot of good points and points I concur with, and it really goes to show this kind of mirror image that we see the social democrat, the lofty goals and ideals of the socialist Democrat Party, the Justice Democrats, you might say, and really it's a mirror image of what I've been laying out with my Green New Republic. It gives a little background on the bold vision of the Green New Deal, and it always iterates that the Green New Deal is about utilizing the full power and resources of the federal government. So it's always using the federal government as this backdrop, this power as the power play that's going to enact this um, Green New Deal. Whereas my Green New Republic is more like the federal government just gets out of the way and you know really unleashes the power of the individual. So it's really good exercise in seeing how a lot of times the left and the right has similar goals, just uh, different paths to achieving them. Um, Unlike AOC, this article really gets into the farming because AOC, um, the Green New Deal is really social justice and wealth redistribution dressed up as environmentalism. Um, and you could it's pretty transparent when you see that she and her plan really doesn't get into the farming agriculture too much. Just says like, oh, we need a dialogue and blah blah blah. And the assumption with this plan that Truth Out is well, it's not really a plan. It's just lofty goals, and they skirt around the issue of, well, what's the Republican reaction to more government control going to be? How is this an actionable plan? Something that it lacks, and I'll get into that, and which I have. Um, a little background: about one third of all greenhouse gas come from the food system. About a quarter from agriculture and agriculture. Blah blah blah. So just making the point that farming has become a major source of emissions of greenhouse gases, but it can become a carbon sink, which is a point that I agree with, which is the background of the Green New Republic, which I iterate. And they also make the point about soil health is being destroyed by constantly tilling and eroding soils, spraying them with chemical pesticides, synthetic fertilizers, just really killing the natural ecosystem of the soil. Which, when you have healthy soil, you can think of it like a matrix of interrelated organisms and trophic sequences that the plants can tap into. Um, so they're making the point about how we could switch agriculture to being a net carbon sink to take carbon out of the equation. So more about topsoil, concentrated animal feeding operations, CAFOs, um, uh, how animals have been brought off the landscape into these concentrated feeding lots, and instead of being actually beneficial to the environment, these animals are concentrated points of pollution. Some stuff about diet related health because of our our dependence on processed foods, the corn, the soy, the wheat, um, how the farming industry is actually losing money because it needs subsidies. They have to overproduce to get these subsidies. Whereas regenerative agriculture, which is what I advocate for the Green New Republic as a backbone, same as this article, um, would diminish agrochemicals, more emphasis on smaller scale, diversified production, increasing food nutrition and local access. So instead of big monocrops, well, there'll have to be some large scale. You might say just because you're a big farming operation doesn't mean you can't do stuff like um, replenish the topsoil with compost. That you can't have cover crops. That you can't rotate crops. That you can't put nitrogen fixing plants in your rotation. These are all functions and ideas of regenerative agriculture that can be, applied to large scale operations. Um, National paradigm shift, climate change report. In short, we need a Green New Deal for farming. My point exactly, but this would be a Green New Republic because farming, again, has always been tied in with republicanism, tied in with the maximum amount of liberty for the individual is having their own land, their own private property, which they can defend and create. That ties into the Second Amendment, which they can own and pass on generations. So generational wealth is occurring, and so bringing it back to this farming. This is a neo Jeffersonian agrarian society, um, based on regenerative permaculture techniques, and so where I split from the social democrat approach here is that they're saying a federal jobs guarantee will be essential, um, and so then they go into the whole, the paradigm shift occurs, and that's step A in their view, which I agree a paradigm shift is needed, um, on the left and the right, because we're both heavily dependent on this mono agriculture, big Monsanto, big stuff. So they're saying paradigm shift occurs, solution more government. I'm saying the opposite. Paradigm shift occurs, big government gets out of the way. Big government job is to incentivize people to move back onto the land, and that could be done in kind of a reverse homesteading approach, um, where tax breaks, capital gains breaks, low interest loans, um, different kind of tax um, schemes where you're incentivizing. And this is from their stats. 42% of U.S. workers currently make less than 15 an hour. And that's been my point along. If you're breaking your back and not getting ahead in life, and you're commuting 2-3 hours, you're working 2-3 jobs, and you're just living in an apartment in some big city, you probably have to work as hard or harder, but at least you'll end up with a plot of land, something you could pass on, and create wealth. That's farming is the original wealth creation. Um, so again, they get into more jobs guarantee, blah blah blah, more big government. Agrarian Trust is a nonprofit committed. So there are organizations already moving in this direction. The farming population is aging, so we're going to need younger farmers, and so the slate is ready for this to happen. This paradigm shift of farming in our food systems. Uh, what I'm arguing is that you could do all these things in a conservative Republican fashion, um, and achieve the goals better. Um, So, again, I don't have any issue with the topsoil getting people farming again. They always go to this big government paradigm, and I'm saying the government, you build up these layers of bureaucracy, builds up layers of inefficiency, and let's say you build up this Green New Deal bureaucratic monster that that creation has now a life of its own. It doesn't want to go away. So once you create these layers of bureaucracy and layers of government, they don't want to stop. Um, so again, my point is that you incentivize farmers already there and people looking to move on the land. There have to be some kind of battery of points and goals that you could show they're easily accountable for, to show that you're actually implementing regenerative, permaculture techniques, a system of best practices for your particular um, environmental, your particular area. It will be different for instance, how you need to approach farming in the Pacific Northwest versus the Southwest versus the Great Plains. Are you using the best crops for the water system there? Are you um, tilling or not tilling? Are you composting the right way for your area? Um, other tax breaks could be, are you providing housing for your workers, or schooling, or medical benefits? So a lot of these social justice kind of things can also be brought into a more Republican small government approach to this farming shift. Um, so that's about it, guys. I know there's a lot of stuff in the political stratosphere right now, with Barr and the contempt, and it's all just theatrics. It's all just clown world wrestling, WWE. So have a great day. Take care, guys.